I'm your host, Rob Carbone. This is BD4.
Barrett, some shake and bake, catch for three. That's alive. This is the crowd. It's Barrett. Oh, hang on to the roof. Goodbye. Anthony for three. That one goes down. Put four fingers up when Torres comes to the plate. The ball.
Right, episode 190 of the podcast tonight. Welcome everybody. What is going on? I am your host, Rob Carbone, and you are listening to BD4. Hope everybody's having a nice morning, nice night, nice day, afternoon, whenever it is you are listening to this. But it should be December 3rd on a Thursday while you are listening. That's when I plan on publishing this. So I hope you're doing well. You know, I was doing well until I got some news that the Yankees plan to tender Gary Sánchez and offer him a contract which is projected to be around $5.5 million for the 2021 season. So that was today. The non-tender deadline for baseball was earlier today. And by today, I mean a Wednesday, the 2nd. So the Yankees, they're keeping Gary Sánchez around. We're going to get to him tonight. So hopefully it's going to be a shorter one. I say that all the time, and I never do. But that's it. You know, it's just the Gary Sánchez news. Couple, other things, they kept Cessa around today as well, and they kept Heller and let Holder go, so we'll discuss that too. But Gary, the big news around baseball, it was the non-tender deadline. So Kyle Schwarber was non-tendered. I keep fucking wanting to say tenure. Kyle Schwarber was non-tendered today, so the Cubs let him go. Crazy. I remember when he was on the up and ups, and after a strong performance, I think it was his rookie season, people thought he was going to turn into a star. Right? Big lefty bat, a ton of pop. And he's always had the power, but he didn't turn into a star. Actually, I don't even think it's that far-fetched to say he was their version in certain ways of Gary Sánchez. Ton of power, high expectations at the get-go, but didn't really live up to the hype. Struggled with his consistency at the plate. You look at the numbers, low batting averages, low on-base percentages. So it's not that far-fetched to say he was their version. He wasn't a great defensive player either. He was, not in the best shape. And before Yankees fans even think about it, no. No. The last thing I want is a lefty version of Gary Sánchez while retaining Gary Sánchez. It's no thank you. No thank you on Kyle Schwarber. So he was non-tendered, but the Yankees tendered Gary Sánchez, yes. And I'm not surprised one bit. Did I want it to happen? No, of course not. I wanted him out. I did prefer they try and traded him before they tender him, but I'm not surprised that the Yankees are going this route and they're going to keep him around. Not shocked one bit. And I don't think if you have brains, I don't think you should be shocked either. Not saying it's the right move, but with the Yankees, you can understand it if you're looking through pinstripe glasses like they do. So we're going to get into that. So let's head to our first break, and when we get back, we'll just dive right into it. All right. Hey guys, just a quick reminder that if you haven't followed me on social media yet or subscribed to the blog or this podcast, just go to my website to do all that stuff at nysportstalkrc.com. yankees.wordpress.com/connect. So, yeah, it was earlier today. Not shocking whatsoever. Not to me. I mean, come on. Really? Are you that shocked? You know, the one thing that I've started to notice with this Yankees team over the last couple of years, they have this mentality that I really, really, really dislike. And we talked about pet peeves in episode 189 last night about the Knicks. That scared the shit out of me. Holy crap. But sorry, I had to pause it for a second. Something fell on the side off the shelf and that scared the shit out of me. We're good now. We are good. But as I was saying, the Yankees have developed this mentality that I think is very dangerous to them as a contender. They're starting to fall into this trap of wanting to keep players around just because they have long-term ties here or whatever. I don't know how to word it, but they want to keep guys away just because they have this nostalgia, right? We did it with Cece for too long. We kept him around. We just did it with Gary. We just did it with Cessa. I would not be surprised at all, and I don't think you should be if they keep doing this with Gardner. They did it with him last year. They're going to do another 1-year offer. It's like they throw these little offers at people who've been here from the get-go, right? Who've been here for a long time. CeCe was one of the remaining players on that 09 team. They try to keep him around as long as possible until his fucking knees basically fell off. Brett Gardner, they're doing that right now with him. Fucking guarantee he comes back. And now we're looking at Gary Sánchez, who's flopped ever since his first 2 seasons. And Luis Cessa, who's been below average ever since coming here from the system. It's like we have this obsession with keeping guys around forever because we either like the nostalgia or we feel like there's going to be a point where they reach that untapped potential, quote unquote. It's just, I don't like it. I don't like that mentality. I think we need to throw that away. And not to sound like a hard ass here, but grow some balls and stop trying to sell the fan base this narrative that they're going to eventually find that potential. You know? It's preventing the Yankees from going further, in my opinion. You know, I just don't see them winning a championship if they keep hanging on to guys that haven't gotten the job done time after time now. It's 3 seasons in a row with Gary Sánchez where he's underachieved on the field, both at the plate and behind the plate, and he struggled with injury. Okay? And, you know, he's a big part of the lineup. He's going to get you at-bats when he's healthy. He's going to be in the lineup. And keeping him around in the middle of the order at that's just, it's a recipe for disaster in October. I mean, guys, we had Kyle Higashioka starting postseason games for the Yankees because Gary was that bad. This is your rising superstar everybody was talking about, sitting on the bench for a light-hitting career backup catcher, a minor league player, and Higashioka. And granted, Higashioka had a solid season all around, but again, your franchise player at one point, one of yours, sitting on the bench in crucial playoff games because he couldn't perform well. He's a liability, and we're going to put that liability in the lineup again next season just because, again, we believe there's something there. So it's like the Yankees are living in some kind of loop where they refuse to admit to themselves the harsh truth, and they don't want. It's ridiculous to me. It is, and we won't make any prominent moves don't look for any more prominent moves this offseason. We got Garrett Cole. That was our big move for the decade, maybe. That was our big move. The Yankees of old, they would keep pushing. And again, I know I sound like an old school boomer. I don't care. But the Yankees of old would keep pushing. They would keep pushing until they found that recipe. They would do what needs to be done. They would do it at any cost, time and time again, off-season after off-season. This team, this current team, right here, under this new regime, this new analytical approach, and this whole fucking era of baseball we're in right now, with the front offices controlling everything on the field during the games, this current team is not like that. They don't keep pushing. This team right here is settling. They got their Cole. That was their big signing of the decade. They're going to fucking settle from here on out. They're gonna if they make a move this offseason, it's going to be for some washed up veteran pitcher who was once good, a Corey Kluber, a Cole Hamels, a Lance Lynn. That's the very best, in my opinion, that you're going to get in terms of additions to our very shallow rotation this offseason. You're not getting anything. And granted, the pitching market, both in the in the trade market and in the fucking free agent pool, is not very deep. But, I just don't see the Yankees making any big splashes either way. And even on the other end, with position players. I don't see a Brantley deal coming. I don't see them trying to make any kind of moves for, a high-profile bat. Lindor, I don't see that happening. I just don't think the Yankees want to pay the price anymore. I think they're all about being savvy. So bringing back Gary just reminded me that they're trying to do the best with what they currently have. They're trying to make as minimal moves as they can. I don't think I worded that correctly, but you get my point. It sucks, man. Gary was he used to be one of my fucking favorite players. And I'm sure a lot of Yankees fans said that. In his first rookie season, 53 games, whatever it was, and you look at his second season after that, his first 2 years in the big leagues, he was a 285, 930 OPS guy. Since then, the last 3 seasons, he stumbled all the way down to, a 200 hitter with, an OPS, if he's lucky, in the mid 700s. He went from a 280, 900 guy to a 200, 700 guy. Just like that. The consistent approach is gone. The balanced attack is not there anymore. He used to make a decent amount of contact. 20, 23% K rate in his first 2 seasons, whatever it was. Last year, he struck out 36% of the time. In the postseason, even worse. And his defense remains bad. I look at it like I don't know. People have heard this before. Maybe it's a tired reason, but I think it's true. I think fucking Girardi pressed him so hard, he motivated him to play well. He performed well under Joe Girardi because Joe Girardi got on his ass. And you know what? If you don't like hearing that, that's tough shit. But I think it's the truth. And many people think it's the truth. I know it's the truth. Joe Girardi got on him, man. As soon as Girardi gets fired, Yanks want their buddy manager, and they go get one. They go get their buddy puppet, Aaron Boone, who's everybody's pal. Everybody's pal. The production drops off. Gary gains some weight. By the way, if you look at his rookie year, and then look at him now, he's put on a lot of pounds. And I'm not one to talk. I'm a fat fuck who eats chips and pizza. But Gary Sánchez, as a starting catcher who's supposed to be this rising superstar, he definitely let himself go a little bit, transitioning from Girardi's leadership to Boone's leadership. So he's here. Gary's back. They tendered him. And at this point, man, what can we expect? Here's my thing. What numbers-wise, if we're talking numbers, what would we accept? What would be credible for a Gary Sánchez / next season? Personally, at this point, I would parade. I would throw a friggin' parade if I saw him bat 250, 800. If I saw that, I would be beyond excited, stoked, thrilled. That would be awesome if he could sit around 250, have the OPS over 800. But do we even see that happening? Guys, he hit 147 this past season. He hit 180 2 years ago. In between those two seasons, he hit 230, but was under the Mendoza in the second half. That's even a large jump. To go from 147 to over 250 is over 100 points. And the OPS, that's a big jump too. 100 plus points. If you're an OPS guy. I mean, fuck. Even that, even hitting, an above average slash like that is going to be difficult to climb back up to get to again. I don't fucking like it, man. I don't like it. Fucking, I don't know, man. I would still see what you can do. If you can get a Yadi Molina for cheap, go after him. But something tells me, again, the Yankees are seeing Gary as their go-to guy. And Yadi's going to end up back in St. Louis. That's another thing, man. He's got to play 162 more games. I don't think he can last 162. The guy can barely make it through a 60-game season. Higashioka had a spot start for him. So I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to platoon? I don't know. I still feel like the Yankees have faith in him. Unfortunately, they have the utmost faith in him. So, Gary Sánchez is back. Luis Cessa is back. Ben Heller is back. Whatever. Don't really care. Jonathan Holder's gone. Don't care for him either. He's, okay last season. Probably his best. Fucking had a good year 2 years ago. He was an okay pitcher. Average pitcher. Fucking I don't care. That shit keeps falling and scaring the shit out of me. That's twice. I don't know why. It keeps falling. Alright, so fucking that's all we've got, guys. Gary Sánchez is back. I'm not too happy about it. Fucking I understand it because the Yankees, again, see everything through pinstripe colored glasses. Is that Michael K's line? I always feel like I hear it somewhere. I just don't remember where. Alright, so let's head to break, and when we get back, we'll get to the NYK question of the day. Hey guys, just a quick reminder that if you haven't followed me on social media yet or subscribed to the blog or this podcast, just go to my website to do all that stuff at nysportstalkrc.wordpress.com/connect. Okay, so for episode 189, obviously we were talking Knicks. My question to you guys was, where were the Knicks originally located? Okay, we did a question like this for the Yankees. The answer is the Baltimore Orioles. That was their original name. They were from Baltimore. And so that's the same question for the Knicks. Where were they originally located? The answer to that, New York. Kind of a trick question. They were always in New York, and they are one of the two original teams, the pioneers of basketball, along with the Boston Celtics. Tonight's NYK question of the day brought to you by Anchor for episode 190. What was the lowest regular season win total for a World Series champion New York Yankees team? And if you want to tell me what year, you can go ahead and do that too. But you only need to tell me the win total. Okay, so one last time. What was the lowest regular season win total for a New York Yankees World Series champion team? All right. So let me know the answer on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or comment, or you can comment or private message me the answer, whatever, once I publish the podcast. So I hope everybody enjoyed. If you like this video or this podcast, if you're listening to the podcast, or if you're watching the video format of the podcast, I appreciate it. Give it a like, subscribe, follow, share it, download it, review it, rate it, whatever you want to do. Do it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate every one of you. Yeah, that's all we've got. I mean, that's all we've got, man. There's not much else to talk about. Like I said, we're not going to be covering Yankees until we get, unless we get some kind of breaking news. And this wasn't huge news, right? But it was news. So that's why there was a Yankees episode for 190. The Yankees tender Gary. So the Yanks do that, and we'll see what happens with the rest, man. Hopefully they can sign back DJ LeMahieu. Tanaka can come back for cheap. Really fucking left a bad taste in my mouth with how pathetic he was down the stretch of the postseason. But I think I give him another shot for cheap, being that he was so great for them in October previous to 2020. Paxton can fuck off. But that rotation needs some patching up, man. It's not just going to be... You can't just rely on Cole. Sevy will come back 100% and healthy. Herman will come back. All of a sudden, he'll start pitching lights out again, despite missing a year and never being that great to begin with. It's you can't just have these, but if he does this, he does that, we'll be fine. No, you have to have somebody else outside of Garrett Cole as a guaranteed to pitch well. Because World Series championship teams, they have that. Who do we have outside Garrett Cole to look at and say, okay, this guy's going to go out there and give you a quality start at the very worst? I can't say that with Severino. We don't know what we're going to get from him. I feel like it's been ages since we've even seen him take the bump. So that's that. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. One more time, I am your host, Rob Carbone. You are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. That's all we've got for episode 190. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. All right, ciao. This podcast is sponsored by Anchor.